What if I told you the best way to bring back your erections has nothing to do with pills, surgeries, or pricey treatments, but with something so basic, so common, that you've missed it your entire life? Guys, the truth is this: the difference between a weak, unreliable erection and a strong, lasting one can come down to nothing more than water, and if you're drinking it the wrong way, you may be slowly ruining your performance without even knowing it. My name is Dr. Laura. I'm a urologist, and for over 30 years, I've dedicated my life to helping men just like you, restore their confidence, their energy, and their sexual health. I've seen for myself that the smallest daily habits, the ones most men ignore, can make the biggest difference in how your body works. And here's the strange part: every man knows he needs water to live, but almost no man understands that how you drink it directly impacts your erections. It sounds unbelievable, doesn't it? But the science is clear. The way you drink water changes your blood flow, your testosterone, and even your stamina. That's why today I'm giving you a promise. If you follow what I'm about to share, you can naturally improve your erections by up to 93%. No prescriptions, no tricks, just water used the correct way. In a few minutes, I'll reveal the 4 simple water drinking habits that most men have never even heard of. But once you apply them, you'll feel the difference in your energy, your confidence, and in the bedroom. Stay with me, because what you're about to hear may change everything. Before we get started, if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe and tap the notification bell so you never miss another tip designed to help men over 60 stay strong, confident, and healthy. And I'd love to hear from you. If you find this video helpful, just type 1 in the comments. If you don't, type 0, and let me know how I can serve you better. Now let's begin with the very foundation: why water matters more than you think. Before we talk about hormones or timing, we must first understand blood flow, because at the end of the day, an erection is nothing more than a hydraulic event, and water is its most critical fuel. Why water matters more than you think. When I sit with men in my office, men in their 60s and 70s who look me in the eye and quietly confess that their erections aren't what they used to be, I often start with a question that surprises them. How much water are you drinking, and how are you drinking it? Most of the time they laugh as if I'm joking. They expect me to talk about testosterone therapy or prescriptions, not about something as ordinary as water. But here's the truth: your body is over 60% water, and your penis is not an exception. Every cell, every vessel, every nerve fiber that allows you to experience desire, arousal, and performance depends on hydration. Think of an erection for what it truly is: a hydraulic event. Blood rushes into the chambers of the penis, pressure builds, and firmness is created. No blood flow, no erection. Weak blood flow, weak erection. And what makes up the majority of your blood? Water. When you are hydrated, blood is smooth, light, and able to flow quickly and efficiently through your vessels. It's like a clear river gliding through an open valley. Your heart doesn't have to work as hard. Your circulation thrives, and oxygen is delivered where it needs to go, including the very tissues of your penis. But when you're dehydrated, the story changes. Your blood becomes thicker, almost sticky. It doesn't move with ease, and circulation slows. Your heart pumps harder, just to do the basic job of keeping you alive. And in moments when you need that surge of blood, when your body calls for a strong erection, it simply cannot deliver. That's when men notice a difference: less firmness, less stamina, and sometimes even the complete absence of an erection. I've seen patients who blamed their age or even feared that their masculinity was fading, only to realize that their problem was much simpler. They weren't drinking water consistently, or they were drinking it in the wrong way. Once they made the change, their energy improved, their erections became stronger, and their confidence returned. And I want you to hear this not just as medical advice, but as a personal reassurance. You are not broken. Your body is capable of more than you think, but it needs the right foundation. So before you look to complicated treatments, before you assume it's just age catching up with you, ask yourself, is your blood truly flowing the way it should? Because if water can transform blood, and blood is the key to erections, then drinking water the right way may be the single most overlooked solution men have been waiting for. And as powerful as this is, Hydration affects more than circulation. It changes your hormones, your energy, even your mood. Let's explore that next. The link between hydration and testosterone. One of the first things I tell my patients is this: erections are not just about blood flow, they are also about hormones, and the king of those hormones is testosterone. Without it, everything changes. Desire fades, energy disappears, mood shifts, and erections become less dependable. I've watched countless men in their 60s and 70s sit across from me, wondering why they feel older than they truly are. And sometimes the culprit is not age itself, it's dehydration quietly lowering their testosterone levels. Here's how it works. When your body is well hydrated, everything functions smoothly. Your organs, including your liver and kidneys, process hormones efficiently. Your brain signals properly, your stress levels are balanced, and your testosterone remains steady. But the moment your body becomes dehydrated, it flips into survival mode. It's like a switch being pulled. Your body now has one priority: keep you alive. That means it channels its resources into maintaining blood pressure, regulating body temperature, and protecting your most essential functions. Unfortunately, your reproductive system doesn't make the cut. Even more troubling is how dehydration spikes cortisol, your body's main stress hormone. Think of cortisol and testosterone as sitting on opposite ends of a seesaw. When cortisol rises, testosterone inevitably falls. I have seen this in men who come into my office stressed, tired and withdrawn, only to find out that they were not only dehydrated, but living in a constant state of cortisol overload. And what does low testosterone feel like? It feels like fatigue that doesn't go away, like disinterest in intimacy, like a fog that hangs over your mind. Some men even describe it as feeling like a shadow of themselves. But here's the good news: hydration is a lever you can pull right now. It's free, it's available, and it can make a difference faster than you think. When you drink water properly, you support your body in lowering cortisol, balancing stress, and keeping testosterone at levels that let you feel like yourself again. I've seen men rediscover their drive, their confidence, and their spark simply by restoring balance through hydration. That is how powerful this connection truly is. So the next time you feel drained, moody, or uninterested in intimacy, don't just assume it's age. It may be your body quietly begging for water, begging for the chance to reset its hormones. And if hydration can restore testosterone, what else can it restore? The answer lies in your energy and stamina. Let's look at how water changes the way you feel every single day. Energy, fatigue, and erections. When I sit across from men in their 60s or 70s, I often hear the same words: "Doctor, I'm just so tired. By the time evening comes, I don't have the strength, let alone the interest for intimacy." Many of them believe it's simply the weight of age pressing down on them, but I always ask a simple question: are you hydrated? Because what feels like age may actually be dehydration stealing away your vitality. Even a mild loss of water, just 1 or 2% of your body weight, can leave you fatigued, dizzy, or struggling to focus. Imagine your body like an engine running without enough oil. The parts start to grind, performance falters, and eventually, everything slows down. That's exactly what dehydration does inside of you. And when you're running on empty, when your cells are screaming for fluid, your body has no energy left to fuel passion or performance. It will always prioritize survival first, desire second. I've seen men who thought they were losing their masculinity, who believed their spark was gone forever, only to find out their bodies were desperately thirsty. Once they began hydrating properly, sipping water throughout the day instead of gulping it down in bursts, they noticed something remarkable. Their afternoons felt lighter, their energy more stable, their mind clearer, and at night, when the moment came, their body actually had the strength and stamina to respond. It wasn't a miracle pill, it was simply restoring the balance nature intended. Fatigue doesn't just keep you from enjoying intimacy, it chips away at your confidence. It makes you question yourself, makes you doubt your ability to perform, makes you pull back from moments you once enjoyed. And the cruel truth is this: many men blame their age, when in reality, the problem is as simple as not giving their body enough water to function. I tell my patients that when you feel drained, it's not just your energy that suffers, it's your spirit. You begin to feel less like yourself, less alive. But here's the part that excites me most. When you begin to hydrate consistently and correctly, your body responds quickly, your energy rises, your fatigue lifts, and your confidence begins to return. And when that happens, intimacy no longer feels like a burden, it feels like a joy again. So if hydration can restore energy and lift the heavy fog of fatigue, what happens when we look at the way you're actually drinking water? Because believe me, most men are doing it all wrong, and that simple mistake could be costing them their performance. The wrong way to drink water. Over the years, I've had countless men come into my office and proudly tell me, "Doctor, I drink plenty of water, so hydration can't be my problem." They sit back with confidence, thinking they've already checked that box. But when I dig deeper, I often find that it's not the amount of water they drink that's holding them back. It's the way they drink it, and this, gentlemen, is one of the most overlooked truths about your health. You can be drinking water every single day and still be dehydrated where it matters most. I remember one patient in particular. He was 71, sharp, healthy in many ways, and frustrated beyond words. He told me he would chug an entire bottle of cold water 2 or 3 times a day, and yet he still felt tired, sluggish, and unsatisfied with his performance in the bedroom. When I asked him to change nothing except how he drank, sipping slowly, spacing it out, choosing room temperature water instead of ice cold, he returned weeks later, almost stunned. His words were simple: "Doctor, I didn't know it could make that much of a difference, but it did. Here's why. When you gulp down water, your body can't absorb it efficiently. Much of it rushes through your system, leaving you running to the bathroom instead of fueling your cells. Drinking large amounts right before bed only disturbs your sleep, which lowers testosterone and undermines your performance. And drinking icy water might feel refreshing, but it forces your body to spend energy warming it up, stealing resources from digestion and circulation. These small mistakes add up, leaving men tired, bloated, or worse, still dehydrated despite drinking all day long. It's not your fault if you've been doing this. Most men have never been told that water, like medicine, has a right way and a wrong way. But once you see it clearly, it makes sense. Your body is not designed to handle massive shocks of water all at once. It's designed for steady, thoughtful hydration that supports every organ, every hormone, and yes, every erection. So the truth is, simply drinking more water is not enough. You must drink it in a way that allows your body to truly use it. And when you do, the difference can be extraordinary. Which brings me to the real key of this entire message. The habits that show you the right way to drink water, the ones most men have never heard of, but desperately need to know. The right way to drink water for erections. After years of listening to men describe their struggles, I can tell you this. The problem is rarely that they aren't drinking water. The real issue is that no one ever taught them the right way to do it. And yes, there is a right way. The way you drink water can mean the difference between feeling sluggish and drained, or feeling energized, balanced, and ready when the moment calls. It may sound too simple to matter, but I've seen lives change when men adjust just a few small habits. The first thing I teach my patients is to sip slowly. Instead of chugging, your body can only absorb a little water at a time, and when you gulp down a full glass in seconds, most of it bypasses the system that actually fuels your cells. Sipping steadily throughout the day keeps your blood at the perfect consistency, which means circulation remains smooth and erections become more reliable. It's not about flooding your body, it's about nourishing it. Next, I recommend sitting while drinking. It may seem insignificant, but your body responds differently when you are calm and at rest. Sitting allows digestion to work better and circulation to regulate more efficiently, including the delicate blood vessels in the pelvic region. Many men laugh when I tell them this, but when they try it, they often notice their stomach feels lighter and their body more relaxed. Then there's an ancient practice that modern science is beginning to understand: letting the water mix with saliva before swallowing. Take a sip, hold it in your mouth, let it rest for a moment. Your saliva is alkaline, filled with enzymes that prepare your body for absorption. I've had older men try this and tell me they feel less bloated and more refreshed afterward, as if their body was saying thank you. And finally, pay attention to temperature. Ice water might seem refreshing, but it forces your body to work harder, slowing digestion and stealing energy. Room temperature or warm water, on the other hand, supports smooth circulation and nutrient absorption. It feels gentler because it is gentler, and your body can use it more effectively. These small habits may sound ordinary, but combined, they create powerful change. They support your blood, your hormones, your energy, and they restore strength where it matters most. But timing is just as critical as technique, and most men get this part wrong. So let's talk about when to drink water to truly protect your sexual health. Timing matters. Over the years, I've learned that men often assume hydration is only about quantity. They believe as long as they're getting enough water, their bodies will respond. But the truth is, when you drink water, is just as important as how much you drink. Timing can either work with your body's natural rhythm or completely disrupt it, and I've seen both outcomes countless times in my practice. Take the evening, for example. Many men will down large amounts of water right before bed, thinking they're doing something good for themselves. But what happens? They wake up 2 or 3 times during the night to use the bathroom. Sleep is fragmented, and they feel exhausted the next morning. What they don't realize is that those nighttime interruptions rob them of the deep restorative sleep where testosterone is naturally produced, and without steady testosterone, their energy, mood, and sexual health all begin to suffer. It's a small mistake, but over time, it adds up to a significant decline in vitality. Another common misstep is drinking too much water immediately after meals. Your stomach relies on strong acid to break down food. And when you dilute that acid with large gulps of water, digestion slows. I've had men tell me they feel heavy, bloated, and tired after eating, and when we looked closer, the habit of drinking at the wrong time was often the cause. By simply waiting 30 minutes after meals, their digestion improved, their energy stabilized, and they no longer carried that sluggish feeling into the evening. Even healthy foods like watermelon or oranges, which are rich in water themselves, can create problems if you pile water on top of them. Your body can only handle so much liquid at once, and the result can be poor absorption, discomfort, and wasted nutrients. Learning to give your body space and balance is one of the most overlooked aspects of hydration. The best times to drink water are moments when your body is naturally asking for it. First thing in the morning to reawaken circulation, mid-morning to sustain focus, and mid-afternoon when energy often dips. By aligning with these rhythms, you keep your system steady and ready instead of burdened and out of sync. Timing truly is everything, and once you respect the rhythm of your body, hydration stops being a chore and starts becoming a tool for strength, energy, and intimacy. But of course, that leads to the next big question every man asks me. How much water is actually enough? The answer might surprise you. How much is enough? One of the most common questions men ask me is, "Doctor, just tell me how much water I really need each day." And it's a fair question because for years we've been bombarded with different answers. 8 glasses, half your body weight in ounces, drink until you're not thirsty. The truth is, your body doesn't operate on a one-size-fits-all formula. Still, there are reliable guidelines that can keep most men on track. And when you understand how to listen to your body, you'll know if you're getting it right. In my years of practice, I found that most men over 60 thrive on about 2.5 to 3 liters of water daily. That usually comes to around 10 to 12 glasses spread throughout the day. But here's the important part. Your individual needs depend on your size, your activity level, and even the climate where you live. A man in Arizona under the summer sun will need more than a man in Minnesota during winter. Your body is constantly giving you signals. You just have to know how to read them. One of the simplest and most reliable indicators is the color of your urine. If it's a pale yellow, you're right where you should be. If it's dark, your body is waving a red flag and asking for water. If it's crystal clear all the time, you may actually be drinking too much, flushing out electrolytes and straining your kidneys. It's not just about pouring water in, it's about balance, and that balance looks different from man to man. I remember an older gentleman who used to pride himself on drinking gallons of water daily. He thought more was always better, but he came to me complaining of cramps, fatigue, and frequent bathroom trips that ruined his sleep. When we adjusted his intake to a more moderate, steady level, the problems disappeared. He realized his body wasn't thanking him for overhydrating, it was struggling to cope. So how much is enough? Enough to keep your energy steady, your urine pale yellow, and your body functioning smoothly. It's less about chasing a number and more about creating consistency. Gentle, steady hydration keeps your blood thin enough to flow, your hormones balanced, and your body ready for intimacy when you need it. And here's where I want to take you next. Even if you drink the right amount at the right times, it's natural to feel discouraged when performance isn't what it once was. That's why reassurance matters just as much as science. Let me show you why your story isn't over and why there's still so much hope ahead. Emotional reassurance. I want to pause here and speak to you not only as a doctor, but as someone who has sat with thousands of men who felt exactly as you might feel right now. Many of my patients come to me with a heavy look in their eyes. They tell me they don't feel like themselves anymore. They whisper about how their erections aren't as strong, how their energy is fading, and how intimacy has turned into something stressful instead of something joyful. Some even confess that they've stopped trying altogether, convinced that age has taken away something they can never get back. I can tell you I have heard these words so many times, and every time I look a man in the eye and remind him of one truth: you are not broken. Your body is capable of so much more than you realize, even at 60, 70, or beyond. I've seen men who thought their best days were behind them rediscover energy, passion, and confidence they never expected to feel again, and it didn't happen because of a magic pill or a secret supplement. It happened because they made simple, consistent choices that restored balance to their bodies. Hydration was often the first step, but what truly mattered was their belief that change was still possible. I know how easy it is to compare yourself to the man you once were. Maybe you remember the energy of your 30s or the confidence of your 40s, and now you feel that gap more than ever. But let me assure you, that gap can be narrowed. Your body may have aged, but it still responds to care, to attention, and to the habits that support it. Every sip of water you drink the right way, every effort you make to prioritize your health is a message to yourself: I'm not giving up, I still deserve vitality. I've watched men light up when they realize their erections grow stronger, when they have the stamina to enjoy intimacy again, when their partners notice the difference and respond with affection. That spark is not gone, it's waiting for you to uncover it. You don't need to accept decline as your destiny. You can write a new chapter, one that's full of energy, connection, and pride. So don't lose heart. The power to improve is still in your hands, and if reassurance gives you hope, the truth I'll share next will give you clarity, because at the end of the day, it all comes down to one simple fact that ties everything together. Water is not just about survival, it's the foundation for every part of your health. Let's bring it all home. The big takeaway. At this point, you've heard the science, the stories, and the habits, but let me tie it together for you in the way I share it with my patients. Water is not just something you drink because you're thirsty. It is the lifeblood of your health, your vitality, and yes, your erections. Every time you take a sip, you're making a choice about how your body will perform, how your hormones will balance, and how much energy you'll carry into the day. I've seen men who once believed their decline was permanent come alive again simply by respecting the role hydration plays in their lives. Think about it. Your blood, the very substance that fuels an erection, is mostly water. Without proper hydration, blood becomes sluggish and thick, unable to reach where it's needed most. Testosterone, the hormone that drives your desire and strength, falters when dehydration raises cortisol and places your body under stress. Energy, the force that gets you through the day and into the night, dwindles when your cells cry out for the water they are missing. And what starts as a small neglect, forgetting to drink, chugging water the wrong way, or drinking at the wrong times, becomes a habit that chips away at your confidence and performance, year after year. But the flip side is equally true. When you sip water slowly, when you sit and let your body receive it calmly, when you choose warmth over shock and align your drinking with your body's rhythm, everything begins to shift. Blood flows easier, energy lifts, hormones stabilize, and you begin to notice that spark of life again. I've seen men walk taller, speak with more confidence, and look at their partners with a gleam they thought was lost forever, all because they started drinking water with intention. The big takeaway is simple but profound. Water is not survival alone. It is performance, it is confidence, it is the quiet key to intimacy that so many men overlook. And the best part is, it's within your reach right now. No prescription required, no complicated routines, just a glass of water taken the right way. That small act can ripple into every part of your life, reminding you that health, strength, and passion don't have an expiration date. So, as you hold this truth in your mind, I want you to imagine what your life could look like if you truly embraced it, because the conclusion to this story is not about water alone, it's about what water represents, the possibility of renewal at any age, and that's exactly what I want to leave you with as we close. Conclusion. As we come to the end of this conversation, I want you to pause and take a moment to really let this sink in. The secret to stronger erections, better energy, and renewed confidence isn't hidden in some expensive treatment or complicated prescription. It's been in front of you all along. It's water, the simplest, most natural tool your body has been asking for since the day you were born. I've spent decades as a urologist listening to men describe their struggles with fatigue, with fading desire, with the quiet fear that they are losing part of themselves. And time and again, I've seen how something as basic as hydration can transform not only their health, but the way they see themselves as men. We've walked through the science together, we've seen how water is the foundation of blood flow, and how without it, circulation slows and erections weaken. We've looked at hormones, especially testosterone, and how dehydration tilts the balance by raising stress and lowering desire. We've talked about fatigue, that heavy weight men carry through their days, and how simply drinking water in the right way can restore energy and focus. We've exposed the mistakes so many make, chugging at the wrong times, drinking too much at night, or flooding the body when it can't absorb it, and we've replaced those mistakes with habits, sipping slowly, sitting calmly, letting saliva do its work, and choosing warmth over shock. More than that, we've seen how timing matters. When you drink is just as important as how much you drink. Aligning with your body's rhythm, morning, midday, afternoon, keeps your system balanced and ready. We've learned to measure success not only by glasses, but by listening to the signals your body gives, from your energy to the color of your urine. And beyond the science, we've touched the heart of it, the reassurance that you are not broken, that your story is not finished, and that with intention and care, you can still experience vitality, intimacy, and joy. This is the big takeaway. Water is not just about survival, it is about thriving. It is about confidence, about intimacy, about reclaiming the part of your life you thought was gone. I've seen men in their 60s, 70s, even 80s, rediscover themselves simply by making this change, and I believe you can too. So as you put down this video and pick up your glass, remember, every sip is a step toward renewal, every choice is a message to your body that you are still investing in your health, your strength and your manhood, and if something as simple as water can begin that transformation, imagine what else is possible when you continue to care for yourself. That, gentlemen, is the journey I invite you to take. Guys, before we finish, I want to speak to you straight from the heart. If this message connected with you, if you learned even one thing today that gave you hope, then don't let it stop here. Take a moment right now to support this community we're building together. When you like this video, you help it reach more men who need to hear that they are not alone and that there are real simple answers within their grasp. When you share it, you might be giving another man, a friend, a brother, a father, the knowledge that could change his confidence, his health, and even his relationships. And when you comment, whether it's a quick note to say it helped, or a longer story about your own journey, you're not just talking to me, you're encouraging every man who reads it to keep fighting for his health. And if you feel moved to go one step further, consider supporting this channel with a donation. Every contribution, no matter the amount, allows me to keep making high-quality, science-based health advice designed specifically for men over 60. It helps me keep these videos free, available, and focused on giving you the tools you deserve. Think of it as investing not just in yourself, but in a brotherhood of men who are choosing strength, energy, and a fresh start. So like, share, comment, and if you can, donate together. We can keep this movement going and keep men everywhere strong, confident, and empowered.